and welcome back to Fuzzy Dutsy Gaming, and a really quick video for a quick and dirty endless delve build that will get you to level 70, level 80 if you wanted to go in for some MTX. It's not one that's going to get you massively deep, and it's not one I would use if you're really serious about endless delve and you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. But if something like me that you wanted to just spend a few hours doing, maybe get to level 70 and 80, get some MTX rewards and have a bit of fun in the meantime. I've been looking at a build that I'm sure loads of people are going to be bringing guides out on, which is a poisonous concoction occultist. So there'll be some footage running intermittently in the background, which is me running around level 70 depth. If we look at the gear, it's really, really basic gear. Most of it I haven't upgraded since about level 40, 50. The reason for the 2 rings is because I'm having to simulate endless delve in standard. So to do that, I de-leveled myself to level 34, which is where you can enter the mine. But the problem I had is that I had the minus 60 penalty resistance from killing at 10 Kitaba. So I've put on a couple of rings that really just give me a little bit of attributes and resistances. And that's really just to counteract that 60%. And then other than that, it's a 4-link poisonous concoction, a plague bearer, and a blasphemy curse setup. And that's going to carry it all the way through to level 70 plus. So at the moment I've stopped at level 71. I might play a bit more later on and do a bit more testing, but at the moment I've not had any issues at all on a 4-link because Plague Bearer essentially carries your damage. So in Endless Delve, Poisonous Concoction will be available to buy at level 12, and I think Plague Bearer is the same. You can use any skill to get to level 12 because the unique items that you get to start with are pretty overpowered for early game. Then what you're looking to do is your first 3-link is going to be either lesser projectiles or volley. It's going to be poisonous concoction, and it's going to be vicious projectiles. And they're all available at level 18. When you get to level 38, you're going to progress to your 4-link, which is going to be vicious projectiles, greater multiple projectiles, poisonous concoction, and then greater volley just for more flasks. And the idea is we just want to poison as many enemies as possible because that builds up our plague bearer. We then hit plague bearer and a quicksilver flask and just run through the mine, blowing everything up. So the way it works, you would use poisonous concoction to obviously poison enemies. When you're plague bearer, this number top left changes the image. It basically means it's got to max stacks. You can then hit your plague bearer and any enemies you come near will get poisoned and explode thanks to our Ascendancy. Link an increased effect to your plague bearer, and that's going to basically carry you through the delve. For auras, we're running a despair with blasphemy and temp chains. So blasphemy makes it so that your curse auras are exactly that. They're auras emanating from you. So as soon as you come near an enemy, then they'll get whatever curses are in this setup. We're going to use temp chains for defenses, and then we're going to use despair for more damage. I've also got a castle and damage taken steel skin setup just for a bit of defense. And other than that, just running a totem in case I need quicker flask throwing speed. Got a vitality. Purity of Elements is there. I don't use it at the moment. I use Grace, but early on, when you don't have resistances, Purity of Elements is a massive help. So I'll just quickly run through the tree and Ascendancies, but there'll be a POB for this character with the gear and the tree and all that on it anyway. So the way Endless Delve works is you get your Ascendancies as you hit the level that you would be able to enter that part of the Ascendancy. So I won't get my Uber Lab until 75 because I can't enter lab. Well, you can enter, but the item level for enemies is 75. So I've just done my first 3, but the way you would ascend is you would do your Profane Bloom first to get your explosions going. You would do your Malediction next to get your increased curse and a bit of extra damage and damage reduction. You'd then go Void Beacon to get nearby enemies have less resistance. Then you'd go, when you hit level 75, you go Withering Presence to get loads of counters, loads of damage, withered, hindered, loads of good stuff on there. And I've not created this build. I've just gone on to Holy Ninja, SSF, day 1, day 2, to see what people are doing with Poisonous Concoction and Occultist. And this is a general tree that people were taking. And it's really just life and poison. So you just go down the tree taking these nodes. We take a lot of masteries as we go along. So we'll take plus 50 life, and vitality has 100% life from the life masteries. For the poison ones, we take 300% more damage for enemies that aren't poisoned that are then poisoned. 20% increased duration of poison. And then really importantly, Plague Bearer has 20% max value. And this just means more damage when we're running through with Plague Bearer. We've got increased mana reservation here and then for grace here. And it just means we've got a nice comfortable amount of mana. In all honesty, I could probably drop grace, but it's 1 point. Sorry, I could drop the reservation for grace. And then we're taking this claw poison node here. Gives us a chance to poison and poison damage, but it also gives us a chance to get some sort of life and mana gain on a hit to make mana sustain and life sustain a little bit more comfortable. And then for the last few points, we've spec'd out here to get a chance to get all 3 charges on hit and then take an increased charge duration. So it essentially means because Delve is so dense with mobs, you should always have maximum endurance, frenzy, and power charges. And that's really the trick. It's really simple. I'm not going to go much more than this because I don't plan to go much above level 70. I just want a little chance to win some goodies. But there will be tons of people bringing out builds for this exact character. So I'm sure there'll be some people that have a fleshed out level 90, level 95 version that you can look at if you want to go further. So while the footage is running in the background, I'll just cover off a couple of things about Poison Concoction. The first is that you can't use a weapon. Your weapon are your flasks. Essentially, the flasks that you're throwing and dealing damage are your weapons. Because of that, you actually get a boost based on the maximum, not charge, but the maximum amount recovered from your flask. So when you're in Delve, pick up any rares you can, ID them, sell them, you'll get alterations. You can use then alterations to craft your flask. And I would try and craft flasks maybe every 10 or 15 levels because you'll see a nice damage increase. So at the moment, the best flasks I've had drop a Divine. And we've managed to get around 3,500 to 3,000 on the flask, which gives a decent boost to the damage. You don't need 3 live flasks. If you've just got 1, it will drain from 1. I've got 3 because I haven't seen any utility flasks that are of much use. Only one I've found is a diamond flask, and we're not crit, so it's very pointless using that. So I'll quickly just run through the gear just to show that it is trash. So we got an item here, which actually for Delve is not too bad. It's 35 life and 55 res. Got an amulet, which has got not much on it, life and a little bit of resistances. A shield with good life, but not a lot of resistances. And that's what you're going to find in Endless Delve. It's hard to find the perfect item. You might have one with loads of life, but it's not got resistances. You might have something with 100% resistances, but it doesn't have any life. The gloves are absolute rubbish. This is what I started with, but I haven't found an upgrade yet. The belt is really, really bad, but again, I haven't had a better belt drop. And the boots are not too bad. They're movement speed, res, and a bit of life. And this is easily carrying me through the monster level 70 part of the Delve. I think once I hit to 74, 75, I'm probably going to need more life. And that's the point you probably start going sideways, maybe looking for a 5 link if you want to carry on. But I'm not sure I'm going to massively love Endless Delve. So I'm probably going to stop once I get to like level 70. And that really just covers off the build. It's really, really quick and simple video. This isn't a get to depth 300 build, although I'm sure you could probably get there, but I'm not going to flesh it out because I don't plan to get that far. POBs in the description. Once again, as always, thanks for watching. Take care and see you in the next video.